Hello everyone and welcome to new Coach Dev Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, driver for Simmers, today we are on Barcelona for the week 6 lap guide of the Valcanta Sports Car Challenge. We are using the M4 GT4 as you can see. As usual, first I show you the hot lap and then we are getting into the details of this week. So yep, let's get started. Alright, so here you go for the lap around Barcelona. So we are just in the straight line now, getting closer to the turn one, very long straight. So it's very important to get a good run out of the last corner. But yeah, as you can imagine, we'll see that later on the lap. So just right there, we're just getting close from the curb on the left. So basically, what you can do on Barcelona is using quite a bit of runoff, I would say, because at that point this is not really curbing anymore. It's more like some runoff. So yeah, just make sure you are using a good amount of it, but not too much, because as you can imagine, if you are going a bit too deep on the left, then you will get the off track. So yeah, they are not giving any info on the track limits, but yeah, I can imagine that if you are just leaving the right wheels um, on the white line, or maybe just on the curb, as soon as you leave the track, and yeah, put the right wheels on the white line, or close to the edge of the curb, then you will get the off track. So just make sure you are using a bit of extra track, but at the same time not too much, because then you will get punished if you are using too much. So yeah. Then on the braking area, I'm just using this pole on the left, this slide pole on the left, just before. I'm also using the two lights on the left. Basically, I'm using this wall, 100 lights there, and this pole on the just before them. So this is pretty much what I'm using as reference when I'm a bit far away like this. I'm checking maybe a bit more the 100, because this is the thing you can see a bit easier with the digital flag. But then when you are getting closer, I'm more likely to use the pole. So yeah, as you can see, when I'm getting past the pole on the left and getting close to the double lights as well, then I will just go on the brake. As you can see, deep on the brake, and then once I'm getting into the descent into the corner, then I'm starting to release the brake. As you can see, I'm not turning in too early, because actually I want to make sure I'm not going too wide on the exit of the first right-hander of the turn one, because yeah, I mean, I don't know if how you take this corner in your mind, but for me it's more like a sort of chicane, because it's really two fast flowing corners pretty much. It's really close. They're really close from each other. So yeah, it feels a bit like a chicane actually. So yeah. So that's why when I'm going into turn one, I'm really thinking more about how I will exit the T1 to approach the turn two. So yeah, to me it's a bit like a chicane in my mind, but yeah. Um, so once again, off the curb, and if you are checking this from Delta, I'm braking quite a lot on the entry. But then as you can see, when I'm leaving the curb, then I'm releasing the brake, dropping to fourth because I was up to six. So yeah, dropping to gears, and then just before going on the curb, going on power, and then getting the first curbing, and then it's just about managing the power to get through the second corner. So yeah, so off the curb, releasing the brake, so fourth gear, and then as you can see, I'm not really going on the right side of the sausage curb. I think I did it with the Porsche and the AMG during the setup sessions, but yeah, it works quite good. I think both ways works quite good. The only thing is that it's too risky, I think, to get on the right side of the of the sausage curb because it doesn't leave you much room with the slowdown, the potential slowdown. Um, because the thing there is that you don't want to, when you are going on the inside, putting the right wheels, you don't want to eat the sausage, because if you eat the sausage curb with the right wheels, this means you will make the car bounce, and then it will put you in a bad position for the left-hander. But if you do like this, you avoid the sausage, so you basically you just use the normal curb, then maybe you won't gain some time on the apex, but I'm not even sure, because like I said before, if you are going into the corner and you're going too fast and you clip the curb with the right wheels, then it makes the car bounce and you will just end up with the right wheels being in the air. So yeah, in my opinion, maybe the safest way, and it's not slower, I don't think, is just to use the normal curb instead of going deep on the inside, because at the end, first you can get a slowdown, or then if you are arriving with too much speed, you will just make the car jump, and then you are going to lose time entering the left-hander, which comes just after. So yeah, in my opinion, the safest way to do the turn one is really to just use the normal curb. So yeah. Then, like I said, it's just about managing the throttle. I'm just lifting a tiny bit when I'm going over the curb, as you can see, just lifting a tiny bit. And then once I'm facing the exit, full throttle, just putting the car maybe middle of the track, but yeah, maybe closer to the right side, depending of how much speed I'm having exiting this turn two. And then as you can see, when I'm getting into the corner, just lifting a little bit, as you can see. And then when I will get close of this, you can see that the grass is getting a bit um, more to the inside, like you have a bit more gravel near the curb. Then at that point, this is where I'm going to start putting more throttle. And then once I can see the exit, once I can see the marshal post on the exit, and also maybe the orange part of the tire wall, which is where the marshals are supposed to be if there is fire on the car or whatever. Then when you can see that, and basically when you've also well behind this, as you can see, I've told you about the bigger gap you have between the curb and the grass. Then this gap gets tinier. So basically, you have more grass closer to the curb. Then once you've got by this thing, then you can maybe a bit safely go on throttle to avoid getting sideways. So yeah. Then we will just go into should be turn 4, I guess. So as you can see, same as T1, using quite a bit of track runoff on the left. And then once I'm getting close of this white line, as you can see, maybe there is maybe, yeah, between 5 and 10 meters off away from that line, which is the 50. You can't see it on my left screen, but yeah, basically the white line you are seeing there, but I'm not even sure you are seeing it on the video, is the 50 on the left. So yeah, once I'm getting maybe 10 meters away from that white line, it's better to not brake too late, because if you are braking too late into this corner, you are just going to understeer and then you are basically losing time. Also, I'm saying fourth gear, so if I'm slowing down too much because I carried too much speed into the corner, that this means I will really struggle to get out of the corner with fourth gear. Then I need to drop to third, but yeah, it's not ideal. So yeah, it's better to brake a bit earlier, but then you can really stick on the into the inside of the corner, and then you can just use the throttle to get the rotation, and yeah, have a good momentum out of this one. So yeah, as you can see, braking not too late. I think I'm down to fourth as well for this one. Yeah, I'm dropping down to fourth. And on Delta, as you can see, it's not a massive braking. It's less than turn one. As you can see, most of the corners, the braking zone looks pretty much the same. So yeah, at least the next three braking areas. So yeah, so braking around 85%, and then once I'm getting into the corner, then I'm really releasing the brakes. It's a bit different on the braking compared to the others, but I already told you before on the previous lap guides the reason why, because the M4 works a bit differently on the ABS, at least to me. So yeah, the braking technique is a bit different, but yeah, it's at the end of the day it feels pretty much the same. But yeah, I just need to apply the braking, in my opinion, a bit differently. Otherwise, it doesn't really work for me if I do exactly the same with the Porsche or the AMG. So yeah. So then, as you can see, staying with fourth gear, just trying to make sure I can stick to the inside, and then when I did slow down the car enough, I'm going back on throttle. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I can go on throttle as early as I can, because of course then it gives me the momentum. Main thing is to make sure you are not going too aggressively on throttle early on. As you can see, I'm just trying to manage the throttle, and then once the steering is a bit more open, then I can just go on throttle fully, and then just making sure I can stay quite tight all around the corner. And then I stay on the right side because the next corner is the a left-hander. So yeah. Then approaching this braking zone. So basically what I'm doing for this one is that I'm braking on top of the crest. As you can see, at some point you are really seeing that you are facing a descent on the downhill. So this is where I'm braking, because otherwise there is no braking reference, like no boards on the right, on the left. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to tell you, but yeah, it's just on top of the crest really, that I'm braking. You can really see it from there when I'm on the curb. You can see how that it's going downhill. So yeah, at that point I'm just um going on the brakes, as you can see, using the curb. I'm not going too deep on the right, because I don't know if it could happen, but back in the days when I was doing TCRs and stuff, when I was going too deep on the right, I was losing the rear. So yeah, I think just stay on the curb. Is just stay on the curb like this is good enough, because I don't think you are going to gain that much anyway if you are going a lot wider on the curb. So yeah, just like this, it's fine. Once again, I think I'm down to fourth into this one. I'm not dropping that much. Um, wait, no, I'm jumping to third actually for this one. So maybe it's the few times with the airpin on the back straight, and this right-hander as well. So yeah, just 3 times I'm dropping down to third, but yeah, dropping down to third for that one. So yeah, as you can see, going down to third. Then when I'm getting into the corner, releasing the brake. As you can see, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not going on the curb on the inside. I'm just getting a a small amount of curbing, but I'm not going really up on the curb, because then when I would go on throttle, I'm just going to lose the traction. So yeah, that's why I'm avoiding to go too high on the curb. I think you can use a bit more with the Porsche and the AMG, but I think I'm doing the same with the three cars. So yeah, I'm tend to not use too much of the curb with all the cars. With at least on this curve with all the cars. So yeah. Then as you can see, I'm going quite early on throttle, almost middle of the corner. But then once again, need to manage, need to be patient and not going too early on throttle. And then as you can see, when I'm seeing the exit and I see that I can open the steering, at that point, then I'm going full throttle. So yeah, it's very important to be patient with the M4, with any cars, but maybe a bit more with the M4, I would say. And then on the exit, just leave the left wheels on the red and white curb. That's the best way. I think it's quite okay track limits out of this corner. Yeah, you can go quite wide, but of course, once again, do not go too wide because it's not going to make you gain 1/10, and the risk is to cancel or delete the lap with an off track. So yeah, it's not worth it if you are in quali, for example. During the race, it's okay because if you are uh, in the race, you have up to 17x, I believe. But yeah, still annoying to get off track. So yeah. Then as you can see, going to the left to short on the distance, and then I'm quickly going to the right. I will brake just on the entry of the curbing. So as you can see, maybe 5 meters away from the entry of the curbing. Oh, sorry, just one mistake. So yeah, as you saw just before, 5 meters before entering the curbing, I'm just going on the brake. So yeah, maybe I need to brake a bit early actually. Maybe you wonder why the lap times look a bit slower. It's because I'm using the endurance fuel for that one. I just forgot to use to do it with the sprint one, but it works exactly the same. Endurance can be used for the IMSA MPC, the Michelin Pilot Challenge. So yeah, it's the same track, the same week. So yeah, if you do the Falcon, you can also have a shot at the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. I think it's with the TCRs, not the LMP3. So yeah, I guess it's quite good as well. A bit of rain chances. So yeah, just be careful with that as well. So yeah, need to brake overall maybe a bit earlier because of the fuel, but yeah, the approach is exactly the same everywhere. So yeah, so just a bit before the curbing, as you can see, going on the brake, I'm just trying to not brake too much for that one, just to keep the rotation on the entry. Not trying to slow down as well the car too much on the entry, because as you can see, it goes uphill, so naturally the car is going to slow down a tiny bit, I guess. And then yeah, main thing, getting the curb on the entry, but not too much, because if you are getting too much, it doesn't feel that good, to be honest. It just feels like it's lacking um something, maybe some grip on the inside or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't feel too good um to get too much curb on the entry. So yeah, just leave at least 2 wheels on the track. That's pretty good. And then yeah, just need to make sure you are not going too wide as well on the exit of this one, because then you will get too close of the gravel, and then there is a chance of getting an off track. So yeah, and then of course if you are too wide, then you end up having to steer to the left and then steer back to the right, but the steering angle you are going to put to the left makes you probably cross almost like you are probably going to face that way the curbs, and then yeah, it doesn't feel really good. You're going to lose both traction and time and stuff like that. So yeah, the idea is to make sure you're just cutting the curb when the car is as straight as possible, so then you don't lose too much speed, I would say, while crossing the curb. So yeah, and then if we are checking on delta, this was first gear, yeah, and as you can see, it's not that much braking. It's really short braking. So yeah, you're just going for the peak, and then you are quickly releasing the brake. So yeah, then we are going through the fast right-hander, which is flat out in F1. Definitely not flat with the GT4. I'm going really to the end of the curbing, like the very last time, very last bit of the oh sorry, the curb. And then yeah, as you will see, once I'm off the curb, I'm just putting a tiny bit of braking down to fourth because I went up to fifth. Yeah, down to fourth. And then as you can see, I'm just trying to get the rotation on the brakes at the beginning, and then just before going on the curb on the right side, I'm just going on throttle. So yeah, on throttle just before the curb, and then going on the curb, trying to apply a good amount of throttle, but not too much, not too much at the same time, because then if you are going too too aggressively on throttle while being on the curb, then you are most likely going to lose the traction and make the car sideways. So yeah, you have to make sure you are putting enough throttle to carry the speed, but not too much to get enough rotation, because of course if you are just smashing the throttle, it doesn't really give you rotation. It's going to give you maybe more speed, but last but not least, it's more likely to make the car spin and make it sideways. So yeah, it's just about finding the good amount of throttle between getting the rotation, but not too much, and of course not carrying too much speed, because it's important out of this one to not get too wide, especially early on, just early on before the DRS line. You need to make sure basically you are, I think, um, go on the curb when you have this extra curb. I don't know if you are supposed to call this, but yeah, basically if you are going on, yeah, it's tough to explain actually, just like that, but yeah, you have to make sure you are basically going on the curb when this begins, like those. Of course, we can't see because they've put a bridge, but yeah, when those curb starts, I think this is when you can extend a bit on the curb. But before that, if you are doing like there, just driving like this is where you are going to get the off track. But yeah, if you are, you can use a bit before, of course. Just if I'm using a slower, yeah, maybe like this. Yeah, as you can see, if I'm using a bit like this part, it's okay. If you are just drawing a triangle, just like this, maybe this is the part you can use. But yeah, if you are using um, earlier, like there, it's not going to, you are going to get the off track. So yeah, just make sure when you are basically joining the curb that you at least are close to this extra curb. I would call it like that. So yeah. Then we have the back straight. Just putting the car to the right side slowly, and then I'm just using this pole. This is exactly the same as T1, the same reference. So yeah, it's pretty easy to remind you for this corner that the same reference you are using for T1 is the same reference you are going to use for this corner. So yeah, big braking. I think I'm braking fully for this one. Yeah, big braking zone, because you are arriving with a lot of speed, and of course this is an airplane, even if it's not as tight as the old GP, but yeah, it's still quite tight. So yeah, the main target there is to stay quite tight all the way through this corner. As you can see, I'm not going so wide around the corner. I'm staying quite tight all the way. I'm not really going wide and then getting an apex again. Basically using double apex. I'm just trying to stay tight all the way around. So yeah, deep on the brake. I will go down to third for that one, leaving the curb at the end of the curbing, down to third, and as you can see, I stay on the braking to slow down the car enough and make it stick to the inside. And then when I made the apex, going on throttle, need to be quite aggressive on the throttle, but at the same time not too much. I just need to be patient and waiting a tiny bit before opening the steering. And then once the steering is open, then you can safely go full throttle. As you can see, cutting a bit the inside, but not too much, because then it's not ideal. You will just face the cones, and then if you end up with the cone stuck under the car, it's a nightmare for you. So yeah, even if the front splitter is quite low on the car, I guess you can still end up with something stuck under the car. So yeah, and then as you can see, just when the curb on the left side rejoins the from GP, then I'm turning to the right, raising the throttle, going on the brake. We'll go down to third. As you can see, first apex maybe just going a bit wider and then getting the apex again. It's not like I'm going really wide in the middle of the corner, but yeah, it's a yeah sort of first apex, then tiny bit wide. As you can see, I'm definitely not going too wide, and then I'm getting my second apex. So yeah, and then just by using throttle, not too much brake on the entry because as you can see it's going uphill. So yeah, like I said before, it's naturally it's slowing down the car naturally a bit, and yeah, then once I'm entering the second part of the corner, then it's just about managing the throttle, trying to get the momentum, and yeah, very important to manage the throttle actually out of this one. This one can be a bit difficult to manage. So yeah, you have to be precise with the way you apply the throttle. So as you can see, if I'm showing, it's wait, it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. As you can see, it's a bit more compared to the other corners. You can see on throttle, much more work. I mean, yeah, maybe this one, but this one is a bit different. It's not really the same shape. It's wider, so yeah, it's a longer corner as well. But yeah, as you can see, a lot more work. It's this one, yeah, a lot more work on the way I'm applying the throttle. So yeah, you have to be patient. I think this is the corner you have to be the most patient actually on throttle. So yeah, a lot of work to do on the exit of that one to get the rotation, and then need to be patient to make sure you get enough traction. Um, Out of this one, using all of the curb on the left, just make sure you're not going too wide and get the gravel, because then I think you can get the enough track. And then once you are um, close to the end of the curbing, maybe 5-10 meters away from the end of the curb, then you send the car into the corner, just releasing the throttle, then just making sure you are cutting, you cut as much as you can, but just in mind that you have to leave the left wheels on the curbing. And then once you are on the curbing, once you crossed basically this line, then this is pretty much the point when you can go back on throttle. As you can see, full throttle up to fifth, and then as you can see, I'm just driving through this sausage curb. It's not doesn't hurt the car, it doesn't make it move. So yeah, maybe it's the car that feels the which has the less feeling on the curb. Maybe feeling is not the word, but yeah, it doesn't feel like you are on the curb. With the MG and the Porsche, I think you feel a bit more the skate effect. Even if it's not too bad, of course, because if it was too bad, I wouldn't choose that. But yeah, with the M4, it doesn't even feel like you are on the curb. So yeah, I guess maybe it's a good point, the best point of that car actually, for once on the curb, because yeah, usually it doesn't feel so pleasant on the curbs, but somehow in this one it doesn't feel like you're using it. So yeah, it's really good. And as you can see, just before leaving the curb, I'm just going a bit on the brake, but I mean a bit more on the brake compared to what I'm doing later into the corner. But yeah, just putting peak pressure on the curb, and then I'm quickly releasing the brake to get the rotation, slow down a bit the car, but mostly about getting the rotation. And then as you will see, I'm early on throttle. I think I'm dropping to fourth. Yeah, I'm dropping to fourth just before going back on the track, just when I'm leaving the curb, basically dropping down to fourth, and then early on throttle, just before getting close of the curb on the inside, just going on throttle, using a bit of curbing on the inside, and then just need to make sure I'm not going too wide, I'm not going too close of the DRS board in the gravel, and then yeah, we are just crossing the line just right now, and we are done for the lap around Barcelona. Alright everyone, so we're done for today. That was the week 6 lap guide of the Falcon Sports Car Challenge, combined with the IMSA MPC as well. If you wanna have a shot at the race, the endurance race as well, feel free to do it. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about all the work we are making. And yeah, I see you for the week 7 next week. See you next time. Bye bye.